Imagine a book so controversial, so mysterious, that it was effectively erased from religious canon for over 1,000 years. A book that claims to reveal the secrets of fallen angels, cosmic mysteries, and prophecies of the end times. This is the Book of Enoch, an ancient text that has fascinated and perplexed scholars, theologians, and conspiracy theorists alike for centuries. The Book of Enoch, attributed to the great-grandfather of Noah, is a collection of texts that paints a vivid picture of a world caught between heaven and earth. It speaks of watchers, angels who abandoned their heavenly posts to marry human women, of giants who roam the earth, and of divine judgment that shaped the course of human history. But here's the twist. Despite its early popularity and influence, this book was banned from the biblical canon, excluded from the vast majority of Christian and Jewish religious texts. Why? What secrets does it hold that were deemed too dangerous or controversial for the faithful? In this video, we're going to unravel the mystery behind the Book of Enoch. We'll explore its origins, delve into its controversial contents, and investigate the reasons why religious authorities decided to exclude it from the official biblical canon. Here's what we're going to cover. 1, we'll start with the historical context, looking at who Enoch was and when this book was written. 2, we'll give you an overview of the book's content. Trust me, it's stranger than fiction. 3, we'll examine the reasons why it was excluded from the biblical canon. 4, we'll look at how different religious traditions have treated this book over time. 5, and finally, we'll discuss why the Book of Enoch continues to captivate people's imagination even today. So buckle up for a journey through time, space, and the realms beyond. We're about to explore the forbidden knowledge of the Book of Enoch and uncover the reasons why this ancient text was banned. Are you ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about biblical history? Let's begin. To understand the controversy surrounding the Book of Enoch, we need to delve into its historical context. Let's start with the man himself, Enoch. 1. Who was Enoch in biblical tradition? In the Bible, Enoch is a figure shrouded in mystery. He appears in the book of Genesis as the 7th patriarch in the line of Adam. But what makes Enoch truly remarkable is not just his lineage, but his fate. Genesis 5:24 tells us, Enoch walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. This cryptic passage has led to centuries of speculation. Unlike other patriarchs who lived, died, and were buried, Enoch is said to have been taken directly by God, without experiencing death. This unique status made Enoch a figure of fascination in both Jewish and Christian traditions, seen as someone who had special access to divine knowledge. 2. When and where was the Book of Enoch written? Now here's where things get interesting. The Book of Enoch as we know it today isn't a single unified work. It's actually a collection of texts written over a period of several centuries. The oldest parts of the book, particularly the section known as the Book of Watchers, are believed to date back to around 300 to 200 BCE. This places its origins in the late Second Temple period of Judaism, a time of great religious and political upheaval. The book was likely composed in Aramaic, the common language of the Jewish people at that time. However, the complete text as we have it today survived only in Ge'ez, an ancient Ethiopian language. This is because the Ethiopian Orthodox Church preserved the book as part of their biblical canon. 3. Its significance in early Jewish and Christian communities. The Book of Enoch held significant influence in both early Jewish and Christian communities. In Jewish circles, particularly among apocalyptic and mystical groups, the book was widely read and respected. Its vivid descriptions of heavenly realms and angelic beings helped shape Jewish cosmology and mysticism. In early Christian communities, the book also found a receptive audience. In fact, the New Testament Book of Jude directly quotes from the Book of Enoch, treating it as a prophetic text. Many early church fathers, including Clement of Alexandria and Tertullian, considered the book to be authentic and authoritative. The book's influence can be seen in early Christian art, literature, and theology. Its elaborate angelology, its concept of a messianic son of man, and its vivid descriptions of final judgment all left their mark on developing Christian thought. However, this widespread acceptance wouldn't last forever. As we'll see later, changing theological perspectives and questions about the book's origins would eventually lead to its exclusion from most biblical canons. But before we get to that, let's take a closer look at what's actually in this mysterious book. What does it say? That caused so much fascination and eventually so much controversy. Now that we understand the historical context of the Book of Enoch, let's dive into its content. Brace yourselves, because what we're about to explore is a wild ride through cosmic realms, fallen angels, and apocalyptic visions. The Book of Enoch is divided into 5 major sections. Each offers a unique perspective on Enoch's supposed revelations. Let's break them down. 1. The Book of Watchers. We begin with the Book of Watchers, perhaps the most infamous section. This part tells the story of 200 angels called Watchers who rebelled against God. Led by Simjaza and Azazel, these angels descended to earth, took human wives, and had children with them. These offspring were giants known as the Nephilim, who taught humans forbidden knowledge like weaponry, cosmetics, and sorcery. This corrupted humanity, leading to violence and sin. The archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel then intervene, binding the Watchers and destroying the Nephilim. This story was used to explain the origin of evil and suffering in the world. 2. The Book of Parables. Next we have the Book of Parables, also known as the Similitudes of Enoch. This section contains 3 parables or visions that Enoch receives. These parables introduce the figure of the Son of Man, a messianic figure who will judge humanity. This concept had a significant influence on early Christian theology. The parables also describe the elect one who will sit on God's throne, various heavenly secrets, and the final judgment of the wicked. 3. The Book of Astronomical Writings. The 3rd section takes a surprising turn into the realm of astronomy and natural philosophy. Enoch describes the laws governing heavenly bodies, providing a complex system of how the sun, moon, and stars move. This section also details a 364-day solar calendar, which was important in some Jewish sects. It presents this astronomical knowledge as divine revelation, showing how ancient people often intertwined scientific observation with religious belief. 4. The Book of Dream Visions. In the 4th section, we encounter 2 of Enoch's vivid dreams. The first dream is a flood narrative, paralleling but expanding on the biblical story of Noah. The second dream is an elaborate allegory of Israel's history from Adam to the Maccabean revolt. It uses animal imagery to represent different nations and figures, with sheep representing the Israelites and various predators symbolizing their enemies. This section concludes with a messianic prophecy promising the coming of a great white bull who will transform all creatures into his likeness. 5. The Epistle of Enoch. The final section, the Epistle of Enoch, serves as a kind of moral and eschatological conclusion to the book. Here, Enoch gives a series of exhortations and warnings to his children and to the righteous ones, who will live in the end times. This section emphasizes themes of judgment and reward, urging readers to live righteously in preparation for the final day of reckoning. It also includes the story of the birth of Noah, presented as a miracle that foreshadows his role in saving humanity. As we can see, the Book of Enoch is a complex tapestry of mythological narratives, prophetic visions, and moral teachings. Its rich imagery and bold claims about the spiritual realm captured the imagination of many ancient readers. But these very elements that made it so compelling also made it controversial. In our next section, we'll explore why religious authorities ultimately decided to exclude this fascinating book from the biblical canon. We've explored the fascinating content of the Book of Enoch, but now we come to the crux of our investigation. Why was this book, despite its early popularity, ultimately excluded from the biblical canon? Let's delve into the reasons behind this controversial decision. 1. Lack of Hebrew original text. One of the primary issues with the Book of Enoch was the lack of a Hebrew original text. While parts of the book were likely originally written in Aramaic or Hebrew, the complete text survived only in Ge'ez, Enoch, ancient Ethiopian language. This absence of Hebrew originals raised questions about the book's authenticity and made it difficult for scholars to verify its origins. In the process of forming the biblical canon, preference was often given to texts with clear Hebrew origins, especially for Old Testament books. 2. Questions about authorship and date. The Book of Enoch claims to be written by Enoch himself, who would have lived before the Great Flood. Analysis of the text suggests it was composed much later, likely between the 3rd century BCE and the 1st century CE. This discrepancy in dating posed a significant problem. If Enoch didn't actually write the book, it would be considered pseudepigraphical, falsely attributed to a notable figure. This cast doubt on its reliability and divine inspiration. 3. Controversial theological content. Perhaps the most significant reasons for the book's exclusion were its controversial theological ideas. Let's break these down. 1. Elaborate angelology and demonology. The Book of Enoch presents a complex hierarchy of angels and demons that goes far beyond what's described in the canonical scripture. It names numerous angels and details their roles in ways not supported by other biblical texts. This elaborate angelology was seen as speculative at best and potentially misleading at worst. Some feared it could lead to angel worship or an unhealthy obsession with the spiritual realm. 2. Prophecies about the Messiah. The book contains prophecies about a messianic figure called the Son of Man. While this term is used in the New Testament, the specific prophecies in Enoch aren't found elsewhere in Scripture. This created a dilemma. If these prophecies were genuine, why weren't they included in other prophetic books? If they weren't genuine, it cast doubt on the entire text. 3. Concept of fallen angels. The idea of angels rebelling against God and taking human wives was particularly problematic. While Genesis 6 briefly mentions sons of God marrying human women, the elaborate narrative in Enoch goes far beyond this. This story raised theological questions about the nature of angels and their ability to sin. It also seemed to contradict Jesus' statement that angels do not marry, Matthew 22:30. 4. Limited acceptance in early Christian communities. While the Book of Enoch was popular in some Jewish and Christian circles, it never achieved universal acceptance. Its use was largely limited to certain regions and sects. Many influential early church fathers like Augustine of Hippo were either unfamiliar with the book or explicitly rejected it. This lack of widespread, consistent use worked against its inclusion in the canon. 5. Decision of the Council of Laodicea, 360 AD. The final nail in the coffin for the Book of Enoch's canonical aspirations came with the Council of Laodicea in 363 AD. This council, attended by dozens of bishops, made decisions about which books should be read in churches. The Book of Enoch was not included in their list of approved texts. While this council's decisions weren't universally binding, they reflected and influenced the broader consensus of the church. It's worth noting that the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is the only Christian denomination that still considers the Book of Enoch canonical. This is largely due to its isolation from the theological debates that occurred in other parts of the Christian world. The exclusion of the Book of Enoch from the biblical canon was due to a combination of factors: questions about its origin and authorship, controversial theological content, limited acceptance in the broader Christian community, and ultimately the decisions of church authorities. However, its exclusion doesn't negate its historical importance or its influence on early Jewish and Christian thought. Despite its exclusion from most biblical canons, the Book of Enoch didn't simply disappear. Its influence persisted in various religious traditions, sometimes in surprising ways. Let's explore how different groups have viewed and used this enigmatic text. 1. Ethiopian Orthodox Church's acceptance. Our journey begins in Ethiopia, where the Book of Enoch enjoys a unique status. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church is the only Christian denomination that accepts the Book of Enoch as a canonical scripture. This acceptance dates back to ancient times, when the Ethiopic Bible was being compiled, likely around the 4th or 5th century CE. The Book of Enoch was included. This decision was influenced by the book's popularity and perceived authenticity in Ethiopian religious circles. In Ethiopian tradition, the Book of Enoch is part of the broader canon known as the narrower canon, which includes several books not found in other Christian canons. This has allowed the book to play a significant role in Ethiopian Christian theology and spirituality for centuries. Ethiopian Christians view the Book of Enoch as a valuable source of prophetic wisdom and cosmic knowledge. Its vivid descriptions of heavenly realms and divine judgment have shaped Ethiopian Christian art, literature, and religious practices. 2. References in the New Testament, Jude 1:14-15. While the Book of Enoch isn't part of the Protestant or Catholic biblical canons, it does receive a notable mention in the New Testament. In the Epistle of Jude, verses 14-15, we find a direct quotation from the Book of Enoch. Let's look at the passage. Enoch, the 7th from Adam, prophesied about them. See, the Lord is coming with thousands upon thousands of his holy ones to judge everyone and to convict all of them of all the ungodly acts they have committed in their ungodliness, and of all the defiant words ungodly sinners have spoken against him. This quotation comes from Enoch 1:9, and it's presented as a genuine prophecy from Enoch himself. This reference has led to much debate among biblical scholars. Some argue that it validates the Book of Enoch as inspired scripture, while others suggest that Jude was simply using a well-known text to make a point without necessarily endorsing the entire book. Regardless of how we interpret Jude's use of Enoch, this reference demonstrates that the Book of Enoch was known and respected by at least some early Christian communities. 3. Influence on early Christian and Jewish mysticism. Beyond its direct use in Ethiopia and its mention in the New Testament, the Book of Enoch had a profound influence on early Christian and Jewish mystical traditions. In Jewish mysticism, particularly in the development of Merkabah mysticism and later Kabbalah, the Book of Enoch's vivid descriptions of heavenly realms and angelic beings played a significant role. The book's detailed angelology and its accounts of Enoch's heavenly journeys provided a template for later mystical texts and practices. In early Christian mysticism, the Book of Enoch's influence can be seen in various apocalyptic and visionary texts. Its concepts of fallen angels, divine judgment, and cosmic secrets echoed through numerous early Christian writings, even if they weren't directly quoting Enoch. The book's influence extended to early Christian art as well. Depictions of the fall of the angels and the heavenly realms often drew inspiration from the vivid imagery found in the Book of Enoch. While the Book of Enoch may have been excluded from most biblical canons, its impact on religious thought and practice has been far-reaching. From its central place in Ethiopian Christianity to its echoes in mystical traditions, the book has continued to captivate and influence religious thinkers throughout history. Despite being written thousands of years ago and excluded from most biblical canons, the Book of Enoch continues to captivate people's imagination. In this final section, let's explore why this ancient text remains relevant and intriguing in the modern era. 1. Rediscovery in the 18th century. The story of Enoch's modern revival begins with James Bruce, a Scottish explorer who traveled to Ethiopia in the 18th century. In 1773, Bruce returned to Europe with 3 Ethiopic copies of the Book of Enoch, reintroducing this long-lost text to Western scholars. This rediscovery sent shockwaves through academic circles. Here was a book mentioned in the Bible, quoted by early church fathers, but lost to Western Christianity for over a millennium. Its reemergence opened up new avenues for biblical and historical research. 2. Academic and popular interest. Since its rediscovery, the Book of Enoch has been a subject of intense academic study. Scholars have pored over its pages, analyzing its language, themes, and historical context. This research has provided valuable insights into Second Temple Judaism and the development of early Christian thought. But the interest in Enoch isn't limited to academia. The book has captured the popular imagination as well. Its vivid descriptions of fallen angels, cosmic journeys, and apocalyptic visions have inspired numerous works of fiction, from novels to Hollywood movies. In some circles, the Book of Enoch has become a source of alternative spiritual teachings. Some see it as containing hidden wisdom about the nature of reality, the spiritual realm, and humanity's place in the cosmos. Conspiracy theorists have also latched onto the Book of Enoch, seeing in its pages evidence of ancient aliens or secret knowledge suppressed by religious authorities. While these interpretations aren't supported by mainstream scholarship, they demonstrate the book's enduring power to captivate and intrigue. 3. Connections to other pseudepigraphical works. The renewed interest in the Book of Enoch has also sparked curiosity about other pseudepigraphical works, texts attributed to biblical figures but not included in the canon. Books like the Jubilees, the Testament of Solomon, and the Apocalypse of Abraham have all received increased attention. Studying these texts together provides a fuller picture of the rich tapestry of Jewish and early Christian literature. They offer valuable insights into how ancient people interpreted their sacred texts and understood their relationship with the divine. The Book of Enoch, in particular, serves as a bridge between the Old and New Testaments. Its themes of judgment, messianic expectation, and cosmic conflict echo through later apocalyptic literature, including the Book of Revelation. The Book of Enoch's journey from ancient scripture to forbidden text to object of modern fascination is a testament to its enduring power. Whether viewed as religious scripture, historical artifact, or source of esoteric wisdom, it continues to inspire, puzzle, and captivate readers around the world. As we've seen throughout this video, the story of the Book of Enoch is more than just the tale of a banned book. It's a window into the complex process of canon formation, the diversity of ancient religious thought, and the ongoing human quest to understand the mysteries of the divine. The Book of Enoch reminds us that the boundaries between orthodox and heterodox, canonical and apocryphal, are often more fluid than we might assume. It challenges us to consider the rich complexity of our religious and cultural heritage and the many voices that have contributed to our understanding of the sacred. Remember, the story of the Book of Enoch is more than just a tale of a banned book. It's an invitation to explore the rich tapestry of human spiritual seeking, to question our assumptions about religious texts, and to engage with the enduring mysteries that have captivated human imagination for millennia. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the Book of Enoch. May your own journey of discovery be as fascinating and enlightening as Enoch's heavenly travels.